In the heart of the African savanna, where the golden grasses swayed under the relentless sun, a young lion named Kibo learned a lesson that would define his reign. This is a story of power, not in the roar, but in the silence that leaves others guessing. Kibo's journey teaches that sometimes the most profound strength lies in restraint, in the ability to observe, to wait, and to act only when the moment is right. His silence became his greatest weapon, a tool to outwit his enemies, to protect his pride, and to secure his legacy as a leader unlike any other. Kibo was not like the other lions. While his brothers practiced their roars, sharpening their voices to intimidate rivals, Kibo remained quiet. His siblings mocked him, calling him the Silent One, and even his mother worried he would never command respect. But Kibo's silence was not born of fear or weakness. It was a choice. He watched the world with keen eyes, studying the movements of the herds, the strategies of the hyenas, and the mistakes of the older lions. He understood that noise often revealed too much, while silence concealed his intentions, leaving others uncertain and vulnerable. One day, a rival lion named Jabari invaded Kibo's territory. Jabari was known for his thunderous roars and aggressive displays, and he expected Kibo to respond in kind. But Kibo did not roar. He did not charge. Instead, he stood still, his golden eyes locked on Jabari. His body relaxed, but poised. Jabari roared again, louder this time, his voice echoing across the plains. Still, Kibo remained silent. The lack of response unnerved Jabari, who began to pace, his confidence wavering. Kibo's silence was a mystery, and mysteries are dangerous in the wild. As the days passed, Kibo's silence became a legend among the animals of the savanna. The herds whispered about the lion who did not roar, the predator who moved like a shadow, striking only when least expected. Even the hyenas, notorious for their cunning, grew wary of him. They could not predict his movements, and their usual tricks failed against a foe who gave nothing away. Kibo's silence was a shield, protecting him from the chaos of the wild. One night, a group of nomadic lions approached Kibo's pride, seeking to challenge him for control. They were led by a fierce lioness named Zara, who had heard of Kibo's reputation and was determined to test it. She roared a challenge, her voice cutting through the stillness of the night. Kibo's pride stirred, their eyes darting to their leader, waiting for his response. But Kibo simply sat atop a rocky outcrop, his gaze fixed on Zara. He did not move, did not speak. His silence was unnerving, and Zara's confidence began to falter. Zara roared again, this time with less conviction. She stepped forward, her muscles tense, but Kibo's stillness was like a wall she could not breach. The other lions watched in awe as Kibo's silence seemed to grow heavier, filling the air with an unspoken power. Finally, Zara turned and retreated, her pride following behind. Kibo had won without a single roar, without a single clash of claws. His silence had spoken louder than any battle cry. Over time, Kibo's pride grew stronger under his quiet leadership. He taught them the value of patience and observation, of choosing their battles wisely. They learned to move as one, their actions precise and deliberate. Their presence felt more in their silence than in their noise. The herds began to respect them, not out of fear, but out of an understanding that Kibo's pride was different. They were not reckless, but calculated, not loud, but assured. One fateful day, a drought struck the savanna, and water became scarce. The animals grew desperate, and tensions rose. A coalition of hyenas, emboldened by hunger, attempted to steal a watering hole guarded by Kibo's pride. The hyenas cackled and howled, trying to intimidate the lions into retreat. But Kibo stood at the front of his pride, his silence a stark contrast to the hyenas' chaos. His calm presence unnerved the hyenas, and they hesitated, their laughter fading into uneasy silence. Kibo's eyes never left the hyenas as he took a single step forward. The hyenas flinched, their bravado crumbling under the weight of his quiet authority. One by one, they slunk away, their tails between their legs. Kibo's pride did not need to fight. His silence had done the work for them. The watering hole remained theirs, and the message was clear. Kibo's silence was not a sign of weakness, but a force to be reckoned with. In the end, Kibo's legacy was not one of roaring conquests or bloody battles, but of quiet wisdom and unshakable resolve. He ruled the savannah not through fear, but through the power of silence, a lesson that echoed across the plains long after he was gone. The animals learned that silence could be a weapon, a shield, and a teacher. And so, the legend of Kibo, the lion who confused them with his silence, lived on. A reminder that sometimes the loudest messages are the ones left unspoken,